So we're going to go over today just the key features of transit, and then we'll dive into ticketing, and we'll talk about some secret weapons if we have the time. So to get started, this is the kind of main screen of the app here. Transit is really designed to get you from A to B without your own car. So we aim to show all of the possible mobility options at a glance on one screen. And the app is available for free on the Apple and Android app stores. So this is the home screen of the app. So you can see there's a whole bunch of information here. So I'll go from kind of top down. So this here is the settings button. So this is where you can customize a whole bunch of different features of the app. And then if you scroll down here, this dot is blue. That's your current location. And then this is, obviously a map around. You're able to kind of move the map to see different things. So this dot is blue, which lets you know that it's your current location. And then if you were to move the map, that dot would turn purple to let you know that you're not in your current location anymore. This here is the search bar. So it says where to, which lets you know that you're able to search for different things there. From this bar, you can plan a trip. You can also look up different departure times at a different location. And this bar is green, which is because we're in our current location. If you move the map or you were somewhere else, it would turn purple to let you know that you're in a different location. Then you can see here, these are kind of the lines closest to you. So you'll see first the route number and then the direction here underneath. To change directions, you'll swipe left or right on this bar here, just to see the other direction. And then you're going to see here, these departures are a little different. You won't always see 3 like you do here. You'll usually just see the 1, but this here is showing there are different branches, so different types of routes for this main route. And then at the very bottom here, you'll see the stop name, and then you'll see the departures for these branches. You'll see exactly when they're coming. You can see here, these are all in real time. We know they're in real time because the number is kind of bolded, and there's these, we call them real-time waves next to the departure. If it wasn't in real time, you would notice that the number would be kind of grayed out and there wouldn't be these waves. So that's the main screen of the app. There's a whole bunch of information, but it's meant to be, you can just take a glance and see exactly when the next bus is coming. And this is just an illustration, so to swipe left or right to see the other direction. This is a common question we get on the support side here at Transit, so we like to tell all of our agency partners that as well in case that question comes up on the support side as well. If you were to tap on any of the lines from the main screen of the app, you would get to this route details screen. So here you're going to see a whole bunch more information about that specific bus. So you can see here, I'll start from, again, the top down. So you'll see this blue dot here. This is your current location. You're going to get small walking directions to get to the stop. You're able to see kind of the bus in real time when it's coming. And then you can see here, again, the direction. Again, here you can swipe left or right to see the other direction. You're going to see the stop name underneath. And then here you'll see the next 3 departures. So here you can tell that the first one is in real time, and then the next 2 are just showing the scheduled time. So Transit will always show you kind of the best information we have available. So whether that's real time or scheduled time. And then if you tapped on more departures, you'd be able to see kind of the full schedule for, until we have the data available. And then if you scroll down on this screen, you're able to see all of the next stops on that line, when it will get there, and also the different connections you can make at that stop. And then this is where we'll talk a little bit about book ahead service. Emily, I will let you take it away from here.
Sure. As part of this project with MnDOT, we have now integrated GTFS services within our app. What does this mean? We are able to display not only book ahead, dial a ride type services, but also deviated fixed route services. The home screen in this case shows the smart service, which is point-to-point trips that you can schedule 24 hours in advance. So the home screen, you can click on the smart service, and it'll open up an origin destination picker where the origin is where you are located currently, and the destination can be specified at that point, or you can plan a trip. Kara, can you tap on the next screen?
You want this one, right?
I do. That way, once you select or you plan a trip from the home screen, you can see all of the options for how to get around, from not only using the deviated fixed route services for their fixed route options. Those are the first two options you see in this screenshot, but also creating a flexible service where you can get picked up right from your origin, as well as the exclusively book ahead smart service, and you can compare and contrast all of those options. If you were to tap on the book ahead service, as you can see is written in the flexible service, the third option on the middle image, you are then taken into the deviated fixed route type selection, where you would be able to tap on a button to call to schedule that service, and learn more information about the service in general by tapping on the information button that you see in the little gray question mark button on the route detail screen. So those are the different services that were offered as part of this program, on top of the regular functionality of the app. And I will send it back to you, Kara, to continue to talk about functionality of the app.
So we talked a little bit about the trip planner in the context of the specific deviated fixed route and all of those, but the trip planner is also used for regular transit as well. So you can plan your trip just by searching your destination on the main screen of the app, and we will automatically plan you a trip there. You'll show you always the best first 3 options, but you are also able to see more trips if you want some more options. We'll then show you other options. So again, we'll show whatever mobility options are available to the user for that specific trip. You can also customize different parts about your trip. So here we're trying to leave right now, but if you tapped on this button, you could either depart at or arrive by a certain time. And then if you tap this button here, it'll take you to the settings screen where you can customize different parts of your trip as well. Something that will be important for MnDOT users is to enable different modes. So maybe they don't want to see all of the different options available to them. They only want to see certain ones. They can totally customize that. You'll just tap on the gear icon here on the main screen of the app. Then you'll tap on this middle slider icon here, where you'll see kind of all the different modes available, and you'll be able to leave them with a check mark if you want to see them, and then uncheck them if you don't want to see them. The last thing to talk about here is our help page. It is a fully searchable help document that has information about all the features in the app. So there's a whole bunch more that we didn't cover today. So if you're ever curious, or if you ever get a question about a functionality in the app, this is a great resource. So you're welcome to check it out. And that's kind of all for the main features of the app. So before we get into ticketing, are there any questions, anything we didn't cover?
I'm not seeing any questions in the chat right now, so I think you can move forward.
Okay, great. So now we're going to talk about the ticketing functionality within Transit. So we're using Smart here as our example, and we'll just walk you through the flow. So basically, you'll see from the main screen of the app, you'll see this ticket bar here. So you can buy your ticket right from the main screen of the app. So you'll tap on Buy Ticket here, which will bring you to this screen here where you'll see all of the available fares. You're able to change your fare type as well. And so you can pick if you're like, if you need a student fare or something like that. And then once you've selected your fare, you just have to accept the ticket rules. And then from there, you're going to have to either, if you're already signed into your Transit account, you'll have to add Smart to your Transit account. If you don't have an account, which I expect a lot of the users to not have an account, you'll follow the steps here to create an account, and you'll have to add your credit card here, and then you will be able to continue with the purchase flow. Having a Transit account is not necessary to use the app, but it is necessary to purchase tickets. And once you create your Transit account or sign in, then you'll be able to move to the next step where you can finalize your purchase. So you'll have to agree to the terms of use here. Then you can tap proceed to payment, where you'll be able to place your order. On this screen is also where you can edit your payment method if that is ever something you need to do. So you would just tap on the payment method here, this little arrow, and that's where you're able to edit your payment information. Once you place your order, you're going to get this lovely clock letting you know that you did it, you purchased your ticket, and you're able to either activate it right away or ride later. For systems like this, where the activation period is 30 minutes, you might see a lot of riders choosing to ride later. When that's the case, there are different ways to access that ticket. When you have a ticket, it will show up here on the main screen of the app. So you won't need to, go looking for your ticket or anything like that. It will always be right here on the main screen. And so you're able to activate right from this main screen. Once you activate your ticket, you'll be able to show your ticket. So once you activate it, it'll make your ticket ready to be shown to the driver. And then you're able to kind of X out this view, and you can still access your ticket if you need to show it again. So that's how to access it from the main screen of the app. But you can also access it from what we call the profile screen. So this is where you can do a whole bunch of things in regards to ticketing. So you just tap on the gear icon, which will take you to what we call your profile screen. And this is where you can see this My Ticket section here. So you're able to see that I have this one ticket. I haven't activated it yet. I can activate it from here if I want. If I want to buy more tickets, I would tap on this on Smart under My Memberships. And from there, I would be able to purchase another ticket. If I had more than one ticket that I had purchased, you'd be able to see them here. There would be like a whole list of all of the available tickets. So if you need to activate more than one ticket, for example, you could do that from this screen as well. And then again, this is just the ticket once activated. So that's the flow of kind of ticketing. I'm going to get into some common troubleshooting steps, but are there any questions about the ticketing flow? No? Okay, great. So some common troubleshooting things that we've seen here at Transit are that maybe the user purchases a ticket but isn't seeing it in the app. So you can make sure that the user logged in with the same email address that they used to sign up. So perhaps they signed up with an incorrect email, or maybe they signed out and then signed in with an incorrect email. So you can check on the token backend which email was used to purchase the ticket. And then to make sure that matches in Transit, this is how you would find that information. So the user would have to tap on the gear icon here, and then this little Transit icon here, and then the Transit bar here. So when this bar here is green, that means it's you're signed in. It'll say connected here to let you know. So you can tap on that, and it'll tell you which email you are signed in with. That's how you can check that with the token backend. The user could also not be signed in, and we'll go over that in the next step. So if they don't see the tickets they purchased, you can check that they're using the same email address, but it's also important to check that they are signed in to their transit account. And this is most important if they're using a new device. So because the tickets are not stored like within the actual app, they're stored within your transit account. So that means if you get a new phone, anything like that, all you have to do is sign in to access your tickets. So this is how to make sure you are signed in. So again, you tap on that gear icon here, and then you'll see this bar here at the bottom of the screen. So if this bar is white and says this, like save stats and favorites, that means that you're not signed in. So you can tap this bar and then follow the steps to sign in. Again, if you are signed in, it will be green like we saw in the previous slide. Something else that might happen is if a user doesn't see the ticket bar on the main screen of the app. So this is something that users are able to enable and disable. So it is always enabled by default, but maybe somehow they have deactivated it, unactivated it. So this is how you would go about doing that. You would tap the gear icon here, and then the middle slider icon here. And then you're able to see show ticket bar. So when it's not checked like this, you won't see it on the main screen here. But when it is checked, you will see it on the main screen. This is useful for someone also who just doesn't want to interact with the ticketing feature. They can easily turn it off in their settings. And this is just a summary of all of the troubleshooting steps we just went through. But what to do if you do get any issue, you are always more than welcome to send any issue to us here at Transit. We're always super happy to help. If there's any issue with the app in regards to ticketing, it is always best for users to contact us through the app. So they can tap on this gear icon here, and the transit icon here, and then this email us button here. That will open up an email from their the email like app on their phone, and it will have this subject line here. That's very important for us. That gives us debugging information so we can get a head start on solving the issue. So this is the best way for a user to contact us. If you encounter an issue and you also want to just forward that email along to us, that's also totally fine. I'll go over exactly which email to go that in the next slide. But again, we do prefer users to contact us this way just because we get that debugging information. So that was kind of all about ticketing. We still have a couple minutes. I'll go through this stuff quickly, but are there any questions about ticketing, anything?
I had a question about Token and the fact that Token has its own app. A couple of folks have asked about that. They've been set up with Token and they, have access now to their ticketing through that app. All of our promotion will be around folks downloading the transit app, so they only have to download one app. But it's possible that people may also find ticketing through Token. If they've set up something in Token, do they have to set up a separate account within Transit, or does that recognize it in any way? Just so in case they get folks that went and downloaded Token first and now they're in Transit and they want to be able to use tickets.
Yeah, that's a great question. So they are unfortunately two separate accounts.
Okay.
And so if someone had an account already with Token, they just have to create a new account within Transit. And then on the back end, like the Token back end, you should be able to move the tickets if they had any to Transit. It would appear as like two different accounts. But if they don't want tickets moved over, then they just have to create a new account and kind of start over.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Cool. I will breeze through this next part and then we'll still have time for questions in case there are any. So we have our partner resources page as well, which is similar to our help page. This has some data tips, some marketing tips, and tips on how to use the transit dashboard, which we will be getting some folks, if not all folks on this call, set up with very soon. We also have some social media images here. So these are just some examples that can be used to promote the app. Something else that I like to note is me. You all have access to me. You can reach out to me with any sort of question, and I definitely do these trainings. So if you would get new members of the team or a new agency, we're happy to offer another training like this. This is the transit dashboard. Elliot, I don't know if you have an account yet, but we should make you one. If not, it will just let you see kind of stats for all the agencies and how things are going. And as well, for all the agencies, we can get accounts set up for everyone. It's a great way to track downloads and app usage. And it's also a way to put up service alerts in the app. So that might be of interest to some folks on this call. This is just some of the things our customer support team does. So we will put up banners in the app, which look like this, and we'll get messages out to all riders. We will also answer any inquiries. So whether that comes directly from your users or if someone in an agency passes something on to us, we are very, very responsive. And then this is all the different ways you can reach us. So as I said before, the email us button in the app is our preferred way to get in touch about kind of an app bug. But if you ever have any question, you can reach out to me directly or our partner's email here. That will go to a general inbox and should get you the fastest response. If there's ever a data issue specifically, our data team has their own inbox as well. And if you do need to email anything to our support team, their email is info@transit.app. So you can always forward anything along to that, or if you have any questions, you're welcome to reach out as well. So that was kind of all I had, and I'll leave it open to any questions if there are any.
Great, thank you. I am not seeing anything in the chat. We'll wait just a minute here to see if there are any other questions. But in the meantime, we appreciate you guys doing the training today, and we will be sharing this out with other folks in a recorded version here in the next day or two. So if you have staff members that haven't had a chance to take a look at this, they can watch the recording of this. We have a question on here. Can you show how the live ticket shows in the app? I think maybe the activated ticket is what the question is about.
Yeah, so this is what it looks like for Smart. This is the test ticket because it's not, it looks like that just for now. But this is what it looks like. So this blue circle here will kind of pulse to let the driver know that it's like a real ticket, so that you wouldn't, like, this screenshot wouldn't kind of work to board. But it gives you, the time in big numbers. It will flash depending on how it's set up with tokens. Sometimes it changes color depending on the time of day. So that's kind of how the live ticket looks.
Yeah, and I think where it says test only, that would be that would have information more about the actual, like, what kind of ticket it is. So the driver could see whether they were showing the correct kind of ticket if you've got multiple kinds of tickets.
And Elliot, this is Kayla. I asked that question just because I have other employees here with me.
Sure.
So when the ticket is bought and it's flashing, that's how the drivers will know they paid for a ticket, and then it's valid for a certain time frame, right? An hour or half an hour or something like that, right?
Yes, I believe the default is a half an hour. If you want to change that, I believe you can work with token to change the amount of time. But it activate when they activate the ticket, they will have that ticket will remain good for that period of time. And so once that period's over, that ticket will go away and it won't be usable. So, would recommend folks probably not activate till they're getting ready to get on the bus, just in case something happens. But if you do feel like you want to scale that shorter or longer, I believe you can work with token to make some changes there.
You can see that this ticket expires right here at a certain time. So it looks like an hour and a half for this particular pass, or it could have been a 2-hour pass. But the time ticker will also increase. So it says 1:24 p.m. That number, that seconds hand, will continue to count up.
Yeah, and yeah, it also, I think on the main screen on the bottom, that button on the bottom, it also shows you an expiration date once you've activated it, or expiration time rather. There's a question about in the transit app, we're not seeing the ticketing right now, that we have not gone live yet with the ticketing, so that's going to be coming up probably in the next couple of days. We'll send out an email once we've gone live and let people know, but we're doing some final testing and review of that within the UAT app. So those who are using Token, that should be showing up in your app in the near future. Oh, and there was a question from Beth. The big time that was right under the flashing blue section. That was the current time or the expiration time? I believe it's the current time, because I think
the current time.
Yeah, because I think it turns over and you see the second hand move along. So,
Elliot, this is Kayla again. One of my employees was just asking, if, say, somebody buys a ticket and then it expires, but for whatever reason, say our bus is running extremely late or something like that, well, how do we resolve that?
Yeah, that should be something that you can do within your back end of Token. So you should be able to give them an additional ticket and activate it, or not activate it, but be able to get that sent out to and attached to their account. So that's something that you would need to handle from a customer service side.
That's why it's encouraged to activate the ticket right before boarding, because there are 2 expiration dates. There is like the time from when you buy it to when the ticket expires, and that can be 24 hours, or it can be 3 weeks, or it can be 6 months. But also the time from when you activate it to when you can use it to get on the bus. And so there's one step that gets it into your wallet, and the second step is an activation, and you should make the activation right before boarding.
Thank you.
Question about, does the agency decide the expiration of the ticket? Yes, that's an agency decision. So each of you can make a different decision based on what you want your rules to be.
And it'll pass through directly from Token. So if you make a change, we will pick up that change through Token. And that includes ticket rules, like when the tickets expire.
Great. These are all great questions. We'll just wait another moment or so and see if we have any other questions.